Hi, everyone. My name is Trisha Senyo. I am the compliance coordinator here at Whittier, also head coach for softball, for those of you who have not seen me. This presentation today is very similar in intent to our fall presentation that we did regarding extension of eligibility and how we can take a few of these full-time semesters that we've gotten back from the NCAA and how we can use them either at Whittier and or at other institutions. So I know that right now we've got registration happening for spring 2021, and a lot of these decisions for all of you, whether you're a first year all the way up through a senior, a lot of these decisions regarding registration are going to come down to how to extend that eligibility. So that's what this presentation is for. I want to open it up first off as well, that if there's any questions specifically for you, please just contact me and we'll walk through your decisions, your timeline, and how you're going to extend it, just to ensure that we're giving a individual look at each one of your academic courses and course loads and extension here. So this is a very just base, broad overlook as we're looking to make some of these decisions for spring. Okay, so opening this up as well, just a reminder, there has not been an NCAA decision as to spring or winter championships as of yet. Fall NCAA championships have been canceled as they've already passed. And how that looks is that they're still open nationally for any Division III institutions to hold a conference only, non-championship driven fall season in the spring. So that might vary nationally depending on conference to conference. Same thing with winter and spring. Every conference has the ability to host a season, if you will, based on their own intentions, even if there's no national contention. However, those things will still affect an eligibility for those athletes across nationally. So again, NCAA has not made a decision as of yet as to winter and spring NCAA playoff championships. From a SCIAC stance, the conference as a whole has not made a decision as of yet as to all of our conference play for spring, whether or not there's going to be fall games, whether or not there's going to be winter and or spring. So from a conference level, there has been no specific decision about that as well. As a reminder, with the information that was sent out from President Obrey about spring Module 1, which starts in January, is remote. Spring 2 and 3 is remote as well, with the option, of course, to come out and potentially have some sort of things on campus. Anything could change at any given time, but as of right now, definitely spring Module 1 is going to be remote as well. Again, from an institutional stance, there has also not been any decision specifically as to what our parameters will be for spring, whether that's competition, practices, on campus, anything like that. There's not been an official decision here. So really, again, my point of this presentation is so that we can kind of look a little bit nationally as well. If anyone is looking to transfer to a different institution, maybe go down part-time in the spring, stay at Whittier, but open up and extend your time here. So, but again, if anybody's got any extended questions regarding what NCAA looks like nationally, or what conference Division III looks like nationally as well, we can just kind of speak a little bit more big picture to that. If anyone's got any questions, obviously contact me as well. If any of you, regardless of SCIAC competition and regardless of Whittier competition, if any of you are not comfortable with competing or coming back to campus or participating in anything that might happen in spring, there will be no repercussions for you, okay? There is the opt-out option, which means you would not be charged a year of eligibility anyways, and provided the institution does not move forward with anything, you will be given back that full-time semester as well. to use at a later date. So if you wanted the option to opt out, you would of course have the option to opt out without any repercussions as to what your status might be in the future here at Whittier or athletically as well. So there would be no negative situations if you decide to opt out. And we really encourage you to have those conversations candidly with your coaching staff as well. Okay. Okay, so really, again, the point of this is the academic stance and our academic progress towards degree. Okay, so again, from a Division III stance, you have 10 full-time semesters. You could break those up, right? You have 10 full-time semesters to use your 4 seasons of eligibility. Those 10 semesters apply to multiple sports as well, right? So you don't get 2 separate seasons if you do a fall and a spring championship sport. You don't get 2 separate seasons for that. Everything comes down to the same 10 semester count, okay? Also to clarify, anyone that was here at the institution last year, right? If you were a spring athlete that was at the institution last year, you were given that 1 semester back. You got last year's competition or a season of participation back, but you only got 1 semester. Okay, so keep that in mind, okay? For those of us that are fall, winter, and spring athletes this year, fall athletes, you've been given both semesters back, okay? Fall and spring already. You've already been given both of those. Winter, provided an NCAA championship does not happen, you will get both semesters. Spring, provided NCAA championships do not happen and we don't sponsor, you will get both semesters in addition to your 1 semester last year if you were here last year as a spring athlete, okay? So keeping those in mind, right? You must, if you want, right? If let's say, for example, we are graduating this coming spring, or even if you're a sophomore right now and you want to extend your year here and by 1 semester, in order to extend your time here, you have to have something required to graduate left over. So that could be a major requirement, whether that's a major requirement, like for example, senior seminar, right? A major requirement or a general ed requirement that is needed in order to graduate. Or lastly, less than 120 units, because 120 units, as far as I understand as well, is also required to graduate. Okay, so we need one of those things left over in order to justify the fact that you have to have that in order to graduate. If you want to be enrolled less than full-time in your last semester, you are able and legal and eligible to be enrolled in less than full-time semester units. That's 12 units here at Whittier. You can be under-enrolled as long as it's required and you've applied for graduation. So if that's the case, we're going to get in writing from registrars and or your advisor that you have applied for graduation that semester, and additionally that whatever course, whether it's 1 class or 4 classes, if you're enrolled under part-time, those classes have to be required for graduation, okay? Again, to kind of keep in mind, it cannot be a second major. It cannot be a minor. It's got to be something that is one of those 3, 120 units, a general ed requirement required for graduation, or a major requirement required for graduation, okay? If you cannot be taking, let's see, if you are doing a minor and you want to pursue a minor later on, that's fine. You've just got to take out one of those degree required courses or units and move it to your last semester and fulfill it with another minor requirement, okay? So again, here's some examples, okay? So if we've got a student athlete, one of you, that is set to graduate in this coming semester, spring 2021, you need, for example, 12 units. That would be a full-time load. Okay, if you need 12 units to graduate, and by need, I mean it fills one of those 3 requirements, right? Degree, general ed, or, major, general ed, or 120 units. So let's say out of those 12 units, 2 of those courses are a major, One of them is a general ed requirement, and then one is a minor. So technically that minor course is not required to graduate within that semester. We are just using it to fulfill that full time, right? Whether it's fulfill the 120 units or fulfill the full-time status. So what your options would be right now, you can completely withdraw from spring 2021 and hold all of those same exact classes, withdraw from spring 2021 and re-enroll either in fall 21 if that's your season. If you're a fall or a winter, you re-enroll in fall 2021, or you withdraw from spring 21, withdraw from fall 21 and re-enroll spring 2022 if you're a spring sport athlete. Okay, so that's an option. You just hold off all of that, all of those same exact courses, and you delay until your last semester. Okay, or you could just save one or two of those courses that are required. For example, you take one of those major courses out and you switch it with a different minor course, right? You're still hitting 12 units, but now you've taken that one major course that you need and you've delayed it to a later date. Okay. So again, the big part of what you want to keep in mind of staying in 12 units and staying in full-time, you won't be charged it against your clock. However, 12 units is required in order to hit the same FAFSA aid and federal aid that you need, right? In order to understand what your financial obligations are with the institution. So you can withdraw and then just keep all those 12 units. You can pull one of your required courses out, like for example, one of your major courses, and save that for a later date and fulfill with a different one, okay? Or you could just drop down part-time for spring 2021. Maybe you take 2 courses, doesn't matter, but if you drop down part-time, understand again that your financial aid will change. You could drop down to part-time, and then you could just use your last 1 or 2 courses, whatever it is you retained for your last semester, okay? Example 2, let's say for spring 2021 or even fall 2022 or fall 21, let's say for whatever reason, you wanted to transfer out of Whittier for spring 2021. Okay, whether that's transferring to a local community college, transferring to a different institution that maybe it's for financial reasons or they're not doing remote learning, whatever your reasons are. If you wanted to transfer out of Whittier College, your best option would be to stay under enrolled of full-time. Okay, so do not hit your full-time units, because once you leave Whittier, you are no longer protected under our Division III and Whittier Institution umbrella that gives you that full-time semester back towards your clock. Okay, so I'm gonna have to, if you go full-time somewhere else, I'm potentially going to have to charge you with that full-time semester against your 10. That may be something that you're fine with, just based on how many years you're trying to get back at the end if you want to extend eligibility, okay? It also, though, will apply to all Division III institutions. So let's say you wanted to transfer from Whittier to a different Division III institution and go full-time there. Provided the fact that they don't compete either in the spring and you opt out and you don't use the season eligibility and they don't use it, then you'll also be given blanketed back that semester back towards your full-time clock as well. Okay. Or again, your other option, you can withdraw from Whittier, you could transfer to a different institution, or you could withdraw from Whittier and be under enrolled. As long as you're not enrolled full-time anywhere else, you won't use the season of eligibility and you will not be charged with a full-time semester anywhere else. Okay, so that's probably our best bet to ensure the fact that you're still creating progress towards degree requirements. Obviously, ensure the fact that you have that conversation with your academic advisor to ensure the fact that those credits would transfer over. If you wanted those credits to transfer over and you get credit towards degree here at Whittier, but those have to be transferable, make sure you have that conversation as well. Okay. Last one, if you wanted to stay on your path to graduate in spring 2021, okay, let's say regardless of whether you're fall, winter, or spring, if you plan and want to still graduate in 2021, once you graduate from Whittier College, you don't need a contact. You don't need a release from us institutionally, and you can go and participate in a graduate program anywhere else. You can participate in a graduate program. You could participate in a post-bac program. And what a post-bac program is basically pursuing a second bachelor's. If that institution allows you to participate full-time, and if you count eligibility wise at that institution. But you can pursue a second bachelor's, whether that's at Whittier or whether that's somewhere else, you can pursue a second bachelor's. You do have to be full-time in order for that to count. So you're going to have to pay full-time tuition, and you'll also now, it'll change your financial aid, right? Whether it's institutional aid and whether it's federal FAFSA, it's going to change it because now you will have been graduated, and now it's going to change if you get any of that. So odds are you'll be paying that full out of pocket. Or lastly, you graduate in spring 2021, and then you decide to compete at Whittier within our graduate degree program, which obviously you'd have to go through the regular enrollment process, get accepted, and you would still be paying for that tuition as normal. You would still have to be full-time if you're here at Whittier. However, the full-time constitution for a graduate program does differ. So it's not going to look like your normal 12 units. It'll be less units, but it's what our graduate program confirms to be a full-time enrollment. And you can do that whether you enroll full-time in fall 2021 or you enroll full-time fall spring 2022. So you can defer enrollment to a graduate program and start at any point in time, with, depending on when you're ready to start. But just remember, if you are at any point withdrawn from Whittier, or if you are at any point less than full-time at Whittier, or if you are pursuing a graduate degree program and not enrolled yet, you cannot participate in our non-traditional season activities, whether that's weights conditioning, whether that's non-traditional season or preseason practices, okay? So you've got to be enrolled at our institution full-time or in your last semester, ready to graduate in order to be even participating in our non-traditional activities. One other situation, again, just to kind of recap, if you're a fall athlete and you want to participate again in fall 2021, you just need to retain 1 degree required course, okay, and hold on to that for fall 2021. If you're a winter athlete, you're the same categorization as what a fall athlete needs. So you just need to retain 1 degree required course and hold it for fall 2021. Now for winter athletes, you start your season typically in October, and then you're going to end your season typically in February-ish, right? So during that period of time, if you finish your degree requirements in fall 2021 and you graduate in December 21, provided the fact that you've already triggered your season of eligibility use, you've already used that year starting October and November based on our first contest. Once you've triggered that year, you can graduate and finish all the way out that season into February without being enrolled in spring. Okay, so that's a big portion to think about. So fall and winter, you categorize the same. You only need to be in your last semester confirmed for graduation and with a degree applicable unit in order to finish out your season. For a spring athlete, if you are set to graduate in spring 2021, you would either withdraw from spring 21, withdraw from fall 21 and re-enroll for spring 22, or you can stay enrolled in spring 2021. You can also retain one of those courses and save it for spring 2022, and then you can withdraw for fall, okay? The only other option that you can look at is extending in fall 2021. You can participate provided whatever courses, if you're under enrolled full-time, whatever courses you're in fall 2021 are degree applicable and are only offered in fall 2021. And then you could be under enrolled in spring 22, provided they're degree required courses and they're only offered in spring 2022. So we can spread it out to less than full-time semesters in a full year, but those courses have to only be offered in that semester to where you couldn't have any other option to be full-time, okay? again, when it comes down to it, right, ensure the fact that you are all contacting your coaches, making sure we're walking our process through. And lastly, again, it's important that you have to make this decision for yourself, right? Obviously, having the conversation with your coaching staff to understand where you might athletically be in big picture later on down the road. However, when it comes to whether or not to withdraw, whether save seasons of participation, whether to extend your time here is 100% going to have to be a decision that you make on your own for your future, and or with stakeholders in your life that are also supporting you through this process as well. Okay. Any questions? My email address is on the page right here. Also, Coach Carter, who is our athletic director, his email is on here as well. I'm only in the office part-time, so that's my office number with a 562 number. So I would suggest just emailing me, and we can schedule a Zoom session to discuss the specifics for your case. Okay. Thank you, everyone.